But I had to have a moment to sit with myself and ask, what is health? Like, what is a healthy Chloe? What does she look like? Who is she? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Some of you may know me from my viral TED Talk on well-being, and others of you may know me from my work with communities. Regardless, welcome. My name is Chloe, and on this channel, I focus on answering the #1 question that I get, which is, how do you lead real change for communities that need it, make a living for yourself and your family while also not getting burnt out? So if this interests you, you have found the right community. Now, because you're here, I just want to say you're someone that I really appreciate because you care. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because for people like you, I have a serious special gift. Now with that, let's dive into today's video, which is actually part 2 in a series about how I got to where I got to in my TED Talk at all, which is someone who is now a mental health advocate that works with communities and leaders to make sure that we're all well. So you guys already know, if you saw my last video, which if you haven't, I'll link here below. You don't have to watch it first, but you should definitely watch it to get the full context. But you guys know I grew up in communities that did not have a framework for mental health at all. So to go from not having, any prior knowledge that mental health is real to now being someone who teaches this in my communities, I just have to tell you, wherever you are in your journey, I get it. I totally get it. I get if it's hard to, 1, understand that mental health is real, and 2, if you're struggling to take care of yourself, I just want you to know it's okay. It's absolutely a part of the journey. We all go through it, so you're not wrong, you're not behind, and I'm super glad you found this video because I'm gonna give you some real easy tips that you can do right now to help you take better care of yourself. And the first tip that I have for you is that you have to believe that you matter. Now, some of you are like, girl, how is that going to relate to my healthcare, my mental health? Well, believing that you matter, even if you don't emotionally feel it, is going to be what helps you take the steps you need to actually care for your health. So many of us, and I won't even talk about, the people that I've spoken with, I've coached, I'll talk about myself. For so long, I avoided my mental health because I didn't believe I was worthy of good attention, of real proper health care. And that just came from feelings of a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-regard. Now, I don't blame myself for that at all. I think that our society sends so many messages that makes that real. I could give you a whole list of reasons, and if y'all want that, let me know in the comments below and I would be happy to, make another video for you. But to keep this short, we're not debating if you're worthy or not. It's not even up to you to decide this. You just have to take it as a core belief. So step 1 is you are going to just decide that you're worthy. Now, step 2 is you are also going to now be in charge of your health journey. And I say this especially for my people from marginalized communities, my first-gen people. So often we feel like we have to fall into the patterns that our culture has set forth. Or if we feel like our loved ones might be uncomfortable with the situation, we might avoid the things that we really need to do for our own health. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just also not going to be optimal for you to have a healthy life. So if you're in a community that doesn't believe in mental health, it's okay. Your job is not to go and transform your whole community overnight. It's just to take care of yourself. So understand that owning your health and your healthcare means you've got to be informed as to what makes a healthy person. You have to know what kind of healthcare you want, and within the context of receiving healthcare, whether it's medical, whether it's kind of like a spiritual practitioner, whether it's, your fitness, your nutrition, whomever, you have to make sure you're learning from credible sources. And that actually brings me to my 3rd tip, which is research. You guys, when I learned how to learn, which sounds so simple, but when I learned how to read and sift through what is helpful and what is not helpful, what is like tried and true holistic health versus, trends and fads that are supported by industries that are not deeply invested in you being well, it changed my entire life. And when I think specifically about mental health, I think about the more that I've learned and from the right sources, the more it's helped me be more astute and be a better critical thinker. So when I'm looking for, information about mental health, or even if you were just starting at the basics, right? What I did was I actually used Instagram, and I found accounts that would talk about just like starting line, step one, what is mental health? How does it apply to us? What's the mental health movement, etc. So let Google be your first therapist. I almost feel like I shouldn't say that. I mean, use Google like very sparingly just to find the terms, but truly let Google, let Instagram, let mental health practitioners doing the work help you figure it out. And then the next tip that I have for you is that, your sources of education aren't just going to be external. They're going to be things that or that you intrinsically or viscerally, your body is telling you. So my next tip for you is actually that you are one of your best sources of wisdom. Listen to your body. There's so much research around the mind, body, and spirit connection and how they all work together as an ecosystem. I think an awesome book for this is The Healing Self. I'll either put like a photo of it so you can see it, or I'll link it down below. But it's an awesome book that helps you understand the connection between your mind, things like your gut health and how it connects to your brain health. Like, there's such a beautiful ecosystem that you exist within. And the more that you get to learn that, the more you'll be able to hear it. The more you'll be able to hear yourself. So when you're undergoing lots of stress, you'll know. Your body's going to give you signals, and it's going to give you signals that are either predictors that, hey, your mind's really finna go through it, or, hey, your mind's been going through it and you haven't been giving it the attention that we need you to. By listening to your body, it helps you become a good partner to yourself. I'm a big advocate for becoming your own best friend, not because I don't think friendships are incredibly necessary. And personally, y'all, I love my friends to death. But you have to be your own best friend. I have to be my own best friend, because that's how you're going to know when you're treating yourself to the highest standard that you actually deserve. And then my next tip for how you can really start to take charge of your mental health is to just understand this is a lifelong process. Early on in the video, I told you don't have to rush through it. There's nothing you need to race towards. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And I know for all my perfectionists out there, for all my people who lack the virtue of patience, I know this can be hard, right? When you think of something or you've learned something new, you want it implemented and you want it done right away. Anything less than immediate feels like forever, and it feels like it's taking too long. Trust me, I get it. And for something as complex as health, for something as complex as mental health, which you can't even see, okay, we'll get into that in a second. I wasn't gonna go here, but we got time, so I'm gonna go here. But for something as delicate as your ecosystem of who you are, I want you to take time with this. I want you to figure out things that are sustainable, meaning not the flash diets, not the fad movements, not like all of these get X result very quickly. You deserve a slow and tender and constant set of care. And you're the one who can give that to you literally starting today. Before I started making decisions that might make other people uncomfortable who I really cared about, before I did any of those things, which felt like bigger, bolder decisions, I truly just got back to the basics. I had to have a moment, and this is gonna sound so funny, you guys, but I had to have a moment to sit with myself and ask, what is health? Like, what is a healthy Chloe? What does she look like? Who is she? Because I don't know her right now. And I say that funny and cheeky right now, but really it was like me laying in my bed just staring at the ceiling after I'd been like not moving for like 5 hours because I was anxious. So, I had to ask myself the questions that were super basic of, am I drinking enough water? What is the quality of my sleep, let alone the quantity of my sleep, right? Like, what did health look like for me physically, socially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, holistically? I had to start sitting down, and y'all, I promise you, I took pen and paper and started writing out like, what does my physical health look like in an ideal sense? And once I got those things down and I looked at what was ideal and where I was right now, I knew, okay, there's a gap and I can see that gap and I can do something about this. So for example, I knew your girl was not drinking enough water. And that sounds really basic, but dehydration and there's so many studies that show this, but dehydration is directly linked to depression. What blew my mind, right? Or things like not eating a balanced diet just with like less processed foods, keeping it very simple, has direct implications to your gut health, which has direct links to depression, right? And all the tips that I've told you earlier help you understand when you're getting back to the basics, why they matter, right? So like listening to your body, doing your research in an informed way, taking ownership of your health journey, understanding that you matter, that you're super important. And as you're resetting, where you're at right now, using those tips as your foundation is going to help you. And just as a reminder, this is something that's a lifelong process. So if you've heard this so far and you're like, okay, cool, lots of information, where do I start? I want to give you something that's so simple so that you can start taking action on it right now. And I'm going to give you 2 options. The first is I want you to commit to drinking water consistently. That's it. And I promise you, it's going to start paying dividends in 2 ways. 1, it's going to rehydrate your body, which is super important. And then 2, developing a routine that is so small that you can show up for it consistently is going to help you trust yourself again. It's going to help you know that if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And then number 2, if you've already done number 1 or number 1's not really your jam, I want you to set a consistent sleep schedule. Now, what I mean by this is you want to aim for 8 to 9 hours of sleep, which y'all trust me. When I found that out, I was like, that seems like so much, even though I love sleep, but I promise your brain needs it. Like all of my productivity babies who think that going to sleep is going to reduce your productivity, just research, just even Google sleep and productivity. And I promise you, it will bust the myth so quickly. But TLDR, the more balanced and consistent routine sleep you have, the more productive you are, the more creative you are, the healthier you are. Like there's truly endless research on this. But before I go down that rabbit hole too far, because you know your girl will, I want you to set a routine. Go to sleep at the same time each night and try to wake up at the same time each morning. That's it. I'm not even telling you have to get 8 to 9 hours. Hopefully you build up to that one day. But for right now, just set a consistent routine. It's going to help your body in the sense that it's going to help your overall system regulate to something that is routine, which is super helpful. And similar to the other tip that I gave you, it's going to prove to you yourself that you can do it. Now, if this has been helpful to you, I am super thankful because the only reason I show up on Instagram, on YouTube with you guys is because I want to be helpful. So if something really stuck out with you, please put a comment down below and let me know what resonated with you or what questions you have. When I was starting my mental health journey, it was resources like this, videos like this, that really helped me feel comfortable enough and safe enough to just kind of like dip my toe in and say, is there a different kind of lifestyle for me? What does it look like for other people? And, maybe this is something where hope isn't too scary. Fast forward, and it's been amazing, you guys. So if I can be helpful at all, please let me know because it's exactly what I'm here for. And that's gonna wrap up our video for today. So if you've made it this far, which I love you if you have, I do have a gift for you. And I want you to just go to the description box and check it out. TLDR, I want to mentor you for free every single week. I want to bring you behind the scenes of the content that I post here, the things that I teach, and what I'm doing in the world offline. And the best way to get that information is going to be in the description box. So head there immediately and then find another video that you might like related to this kind of topic, because you guys, research. It's gonna be your best friend. It's why I'm so grateful for platforms like YouTube and Instagram, because when you're in the right communities, it can change your life. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Take care.